Stop. Your next flight is a carefully designed trap. Airlines are no longer just transportation companies. They are high-tech data machines looking for any excuse to fine you $500 just for standing up too early. They are quietly slashing 33% of their traditional routes and hiding $450 in cash refunds behind worthless vouchers. Your tiny economy seat is more than just uncomfortable. It is a potential health hazard that many frequent flyers ignore until it is too late. The entire system is rigged to profit from your silence. Here are 12 rules you need to survive the modern skies. Rule 1 of 12. Many major airlines now use algorithms that specifically target solo travelers. It is not a glitch in the software. It is a calculated pricing trap. Take Liam, a 23-year-old barista from Chicago. He was sitting at a gate in Copenhagen, or CPH, trying to book a quick jump to London. He found 2 seats on a budget carrier for a total of $140. But when he tried to select just 1 seat for himself, the price for that single ticket suddenly hit $95. That is nearly 70% of the duo price. The airline will not explain this to you, but they use what insiders call bucket pricing to fill pairs of seats first. They bank on your ignorance of the underlying math. Stop. Here's the fix you need. Always search for 2 passengers first, even if you are traveling alone. This allows you to see the real base price the airline is offering for that flight. If the single-seat price is significantly higher than half of the duo price, try booking through a third-party aggregator in a private incognito browser. Often these sites hold blocks of pair tickets at a locked, lower rate that the airline's direct site has already hidden from you. Liam tried this. He cleared his cookies, switched to a localized version of the site, and saved $25 in less than 5 minutes. It is a constant test of your patience. Reality check. This trick will not work 100% of the time, especially with ultra-low-cost carriers that have very simplified fare structures. However, it gives you the competitive edge in most searches. Liam got his fair price and kept his trip on budget. But saving $25 on a ticket is nothing compared to what you lose when the 45-minute hard cutoff hits you. Do not let yourself be the next victim. Rule 2 of 12. Stop trusting the time printed on your boarding pass. You see that departure time and think you have a comfortable cushion of time. You do not. When Noah, a 38-year-old architect, arrived at the airport in Kansas City, or MCI, 60 minutes before his 10:15 a.m. flight, he felt perfectly safe. He reached the gate at 9:40 a.m. He thought he was early. He was wrong. The airline is counting on you not knowing the difference between departure time and boarding closure. Most major carriers now flag you as a no-show in their computer system if you are not physically at the gate 45 minutes before the wheels are scheduled to leave the ground. Not in the security line, not at the coffee shop 10 feet away. At the gate. If you are not there, the automated system can instantly resell your seat to a standby passenger for a massive premium. They profit while you stand there confused. Noah tried to explain his situation to the agent, but the computer had already locked the manifest. The door was barred. Here is the professional fix. Always aim to be at the gate 50 minutes early. Use an app like Flight Radar 24 to track the incoming plane. If that plane is already at the gate, your personal clock is ticking faster than you think. Reality check. This is not about the plane being ready to fly. It is about seat priority and overbooking logistics. Noah lost his entire weekend because of a 15-minute misunderstanding. On time is officially late. But the gate is just the first hurdle. What happens when your own technology becomes a liability? The next secret is where things get truly invasive. Rule 3 of 12. Oliver, a 52-year-old journalist, stood at security in Nice, France, clutching his laptop bag as the line crawled forward. He had a long 14-hour flight back to the States and knew he would need a charge for his devices. But as his bag exited the X-ray machine, the security officer signaled a hard stop. The culprit was a heavy-duty portable charger Oliver had bought specifically for this international assignment. He was baffled. It was just a battery, after all. Confusion turned to deep frustration as the agent explained that the power bank was too powerful for the airplane cabin. Many travelers do not realize that high-capacity lithium batteries are considered volatile energy sources. If they short-circuit, they can cause a chemical fire at 30,000 feet that is nearly impossible for a standard fire extinguisher to stop. Most global airlines follow strict IATA limits, usually capping individual devices at 100 watt-hours. The system is rigged to catch those who do not read the fine print on their electronics. Check your charger right now for the WH rating. If your device only shows milliamp hours, you can calculate the limit yourself. Divide the milliamp hour number by 1,000 and then multiply by 3.7 to find the total capacity in watt-hours. Anything over 100 watt-hours usually requires special airline permission, and anything over 160 is strictly banned. Never put these in checked luggage, as a fire in the cargo hold is a nightmare scenario. Oliver's expensive charger was confiscated on the spot. Oliver made his flight, but his phone died halfway over the Atlantic Ocean. He learned his lesson the hard way. But keeping your power bank will not help you when the 15-pound carry-on trap hits your wallet. Rule 4 of 12. Do you think your standard carry-on bag is safe just because it fits inside the metal sizer? Think again. Sophia, a 31-year-old marketing manager, learned this lesson the hard way at Newark Liberty International, or EWR. She carefully checked her bag's dimensions. It was the classic 22 by 14 by 9 inches. It was perfect. But at the gate, the agent did not even look at the size. He pulled out a digital scale. Suddenly, panic set in for Sophia. Her bag weighed 18 pounds. On this specific carrier, the limit was strictly 15 pounds. She was trapped. They are banking on your ignorance of the weight rules to collect a $60 gate fee. They profit, you lose. Here is the fix. Buy a digital luggage scale and use it at home. Aim for a weight of 12 pounds to account for any variance in the airline's equipment. If you find yourself over the limit at the gate, immediately put on your heaviest pair of shoes and stuff your coat pockets with your heavy power banks and chargers. It is not about the physical space you occupy. It is about the weight on the manifest. Sophia had to pay the fine, but you do not have to. A cheap seat can quickly turn into an expensive mistake. You just saved $100 by being prepared. But that is nothing compared to the shock you will feel when the new digital border rules hit you. Do not be a victim. Rule 5 of 12.
Starting in early 25, your American passport is losing its all-access pass status to the United Kingdom. If you do not have a specific digital code, you are not boarding your flight to London. Most travelers are completely oblivious to this change. Ava, a 26-year-old artist, discovered this the hard way at Washington Dulles, or IAD.
She stood at the gate for her overnight flight, her luggage packed for a month-long gallery tour. The gate agent asked for her digital authorization. Ava froze. She had no idea what code he was talking about. The agent just sighed. No code means no boarding. This is the new UK Electronic Travel Authorization, or ETA. The authorities hope you do not know this rule until the last minute to keep processing lines moving at the border. You should apply online at least 72 hours before your scheduled departure. It costs about £10 or $13 and links digitally to your passport number. Without it, your entire trip ends at the security terminal. Reality check. Most applications are approved instantly, but technical glitches can happen. Do not risk a 3,600-mile heartbreak. Ava eventually got hers approved in 20 minutes of frantic clicking, but her vacation almost died before it began. Subscribe to beat these shifting systems. You just saved your entire trip. But that will not help when the fine for standing up hits your bank account. Rule 6 of 12. Sit back down and wait for the chime. Most passengers think the seatbelt sign is just a polite suggestion once the wheels touch the tarmac. Mia, a 44-year-old pharmacist flying out of Oslo, or OSL, thought exactly that. The plane reached the gate, but the sign stayed red. Mia stood up. She reached for her 22-pound carry-on in the overhead bin. Suddenly, the lead flight attendant's voice cut through the cabin like a knife. This was not a request. It was a formal notification of a safety violation. Standing up before the sign turns off in international hubs like Oslo or Istanbul is not just considered rude anymore. It is a legal violation that can lead to heavy fines. In many international jurisdictions, jumping the gun is a finable offense that costs between $300 and $500. The crew is not just being mean. If the plane jerks even 2 feet during the final docking, you become a human projectile in a narrow metal tube. Mia spent 20 minutes explaining herself to the airport police. It nearly ruined her entire connection. Stay buckled until the chime sounds. Airlines are banking on your impatience to justify these steep penalties. Mia learned the hard way. But avoiding fines is only half the battle. You still have to survive the seat itself. Rule 7 of 12. James, a 57-year-old retired pilot, stepped toward the gate at Dallas-Fort Worth, or DFW, his heart set on a direct flight home to see his family. He looked at the monitor, and his face fell. The flight was gone. It was not delayed. It was not just canceled for the day. The entire route had been wiped from the schedule. This is not just bad luck. It is a massive global trend. Airlines are projected to slash nearly 33% of their secondary routes by 26. They call it network optimization. You call it a logistical nightmare. Smaller regional hubs are being gutted to feed massive, overcrowded connection centers. The system is rigged against the convenience of the passenger. Here is how you fight back. Stop relying on your usual routes and airlines. Use Google Flights to track regional shifts at least 6 months out. If a direct flight vanishes, Check for hidden nearby airports. Sometimes a 30-minute Uber drive to a smaller secondary airport can save you a 5-hour layover in a crowded hub. Always book the earliest morning flight possible. This provides a buffer for when a connection becomes your only choice. Reality check. A direct flight is becoming a luxury, not a basic right. They prioritize fuel efficiency over your personal time. James made it home, but it cost him an unplanned layover and 4 extra hours of his life. Direct flights are dying, but that time loss is nothing compared to the privacy hit you will take at the gate. Rule 8 of 12. Have you ever felt like you're being watched while standing in the boarding line? Lucas, a 35-year-old data scientist from Houston, certainly did at IAH. He was rushing to catch a business flight when he reached for his phone to show his digital boarding pass. The gate agent did not even look at his screen. She just pointed at a small black lens mounted on a tripod. The era of the paper boarding pass is rapidly coming to an end. Your face is now your ticket, whether you like it or not. But for Lucas, the screen flashed red. The biometric match failed. He stood there fumbling with his phone as the line behind him grew restless and loud. This is where they put the pressure on you. The airline will not go out of its way to tell you this, but biometric boarding systems are not mandatory for every passenger yet. You still have the legal right to request a manual ID check to protect your personal biometric data from being stored in corporate databases. Lucas eventually got through after a tense 5-minute argument with the supervisor, but the stress was palpable. Legroom is not a right in their eyes. It is a test of compliance. But a glitchy camera is nothing compared to the $60 you lose when the hidden baggage fees catch up to you. Rule 9 of 12. Nearly 60% of premium credit card travel perks have been slashed or devalued since the start of 24. Charlotte, a 49-year-old financial advisor, learned this the hard way at Barcelona, or BCN. She walked toward the VIP lounge, looking for a quiet place to work and a complimentary coffee. Charlotte flashed her expensive metal card, expecting the usual warm welcome. The agent did not smile. He pointed to a small, newly printed sign, "Access Denied." Her card issuer had recently updated the fine print in a 30-page email she had ignored. Guests now cost $50 each, and primary cardholders are often restricted during peak hours. They are banking on your ignorance of these rolling policy changes. Charlotte felt the heat rise in her face as other passengers watched her get turned away. Stop. Here is the professional fix. Always open your banking app and check the lounge finder for policy updates before you leave for the airport. Many major banks now require a $75,000 annual spend just to maintain basic guest privileges. If the lounge is full, they can still legally turn you away. Ask the agent specifically if there is a digital wait list. Often there is one that they do not advertise. Charlotte did not know that. She paid the high fee and immediately regretted it. Reality check. These spaces are no longer exclusive clubs. They are often just crowded waiting rooms with slightly better chairs. You lost the game the moment you walked in unprepared. Rule 10 of 12. Never pay for middle seat assignment again. William, a 41-year-old realtor, was flying out of Tampa, or TPA, on a very tight schedule. He booked a basic economy ticket thinking he had saved a fortune on his business trip. He was wrong. At the gate, he found his assigned seat was in the very last row, wedged between two larger passengers right next to the lavatory. The seat did not recline. The noise was constant. To move just 5 rows forward into a preferred seat, the airline demanded an extra $45. They are banking on your physical frustration. It is a financial trap. Stop. Here is the fix. If you are stuck in a terrible seat, wait until the boarding process is 90% finished. Stay near the podium, but stay out of the way. Once the main line has dissipated, approach the gate agent politely and ask if there are any unclaimed preferred seats available for weight and balance purposes. Often those premium spots stay empty if no one bought the upgrade at the last minute. Once the boarding door is nearly closed, agents have the discretion to move you, just to get the plane out on time. Also, check the airline app exactly 24 hours before your flight during the check-in window. Many carriers release blocked seats for free if they need to balance the passenger load. Reality check. This is not a guarantee on a completely packed flight. However, it works more often than most people realize. William tried this on his return leg and scored an exit row with extra leg room for $0 extra. You just saved $45 on a seat. But that is nothing compared to the $600 you lose when you fall for the voucher scam. Subscribe right now to beat the corporate system. Rule 11 of 12. Alexander, a 64-year-old librarian, stood at gate B12 in Seattle-Tacoma, or SEA, as his flight status flashed a bright red "Canceled." Minutes later, a harried agent offered him a $300 travel voucher as an apology. Alexander almost took it. Stop. If he had signed that paper, he would have legally waived his right to a full cash refund. The airline will never volunteer this information. They are banking on your exhaustion. Vouchers often come with hidden expiration dates or blackout periods that make them nearly impossible to use. The entire refund system is rigged to keep your money in their ecosystem. Instead of accepting the credit, tell the agent firmly but politely that you would like a refund to your original form of payment. In the United States and the European Union, if the airline cancels your flight or makes a significant schedule change, they are legally required to offer you a refund in cash, not just airline credit. Alexander stayed firm. It took 10 minutes of checking the DOT regulations on his phone, but his $450 fare went back to his credit card. Airlines push vouchers to keep their cash flow positive. Do not let them hold your money hostage. Alexander made it home with his finances intact. But cash will not help if your health fails during a long-haul journey. That is the ultimate risk. Rule 12 of 12. Do you realize that sitting still in a cramped position for 10 hours is actually more dangerous than the flight itself? When Evelyn, a 27-year-old physical therapist, flew out of Austin, or AUS, she saw the warning signs. She spent nearly half a day tucked into a window seat, barely moving because she did not want to disturb the sleeping passenger next to her. By the time the plane landed, her legs felt heavy and tight. This is where the concept of the invisible health tax becomes terrifying. It is not a bill you get in the mail. It is the damage done to your vascular system by forced immobility. The system is rigged against your natural circulation. Here is the medical fix you must follow. You must stand up and move every 90 minutes, no matter how awkward it feels to wake your neighbor. Evelyn knew she was being polite, but she also knew she was risking deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This is a condition where blood clots form in the deep veins of your legs. If those clots break loose and travel to your lungs, it is a life-threatening emergency. Wear medical-grade compression socks and perform seated calf raises every 30 minutes. These are not just suggestions. They are survival tactics for the modern traveler. The airlines hope you stay seated and quiet because it makes their job easier. Do not prioritize their convenience over your life. Airlines are banking on your ignorance of these rules. While a life-threatening clot is statistically rare, the physical toll of immobility is 100% real for every passenger. Evelyn survived her trip because she knew when to move. If you do not know these rules, the airport and the airline will take your money and your health every single time you fly. The airlines hate that you are finally learning these secrets. Hit subscribe right now to keep winning the travel game.